What's going on there, guys? Earthmaster here, jumping in on the live stream with an update video on quite a bit of earthquake activity ramping up off the coast of Japan, right smack dab in the area that I've been monitoring here for a couple months. The lack of activity, as far as earthquake movement in the past couple months, has led me to believe that we're looking at potentially something brewing here in the large, potentially megaquake scale off the coast of Japan. It's been all too quiet. When you look at the trends and the movement of the plate around this section, let me get off this map here and show you guys a little bit better map. Let's go. Hold on one second here. Okay, here we go. Pacific Ring of Fire. This thing moves. I'm not going to go into specifics of how it moves and where it moves. But this area, basically from right up here to this bend, down to about this line, this plate boundary right here, Japan Trench, this area northward, has seen the best word I could describe it is the lack of earthquake activity, while all other portions of the Pacific Plate and areas to the west and southwest in their own plate boundaries move and have had significant earthquake movements within the past couple months. This area has not, but we're starting to see something kick up today. We're talking about a swarm of earthquakes northeast of Tokyo. Of course, got the Olympics going on there. This would not be good to see a mega quake while the Olympics are going on. But man, we're looking at quite a bit of seismic activity ramping up. I believe they just had another. Well, there's two 4-pointers. The largest one so far is in 5.8, kind of working its way up in the magnitude scale. This is kind of what happened when we seen that large 2011 earthquake, that 9-pointer that struck off the coast of Japan. I believe it was just up here to the northeast somewhere. I don't remember the exact details, but a lot of pressure has been building up here in the past few months, folks, with the lack of general earthquake activity. So I think the more swarming we see, the higher likelihood of a much larger impending earthquake in this region. The depth of these earthquakes range variable. Of course, you got some deeper movement up here. We've been watching some deep activity here over the last week. Today, though, most of it's at the surface, or at least not as deep as these other ones that we've been monitoring. 19 kilometers for the 4.6 there, 4.7 into the Japan Trench region. A little bit of migration to the north as we zoom in here. Looks like most of these are going to be at the surface, or at least 10 kilometers. By the surface, I mean the average 10-kilometer depth that the USGS issues here. Looking back over the last 7 days here, not a whole lot of movement, right? Most of the movement today. Most of the movement has been today. There was, like I mentioned, we were watching some deeper movement within the last couple days or so, but man, it's kicking up. Let me tell you, something's brewing down here, and it's good to be on guard if you're out there around Tokyo, Japan, Olympics. Not a good thing to well, you know, if there was a mega quake out here, I don't think the earth movement would be too much damage for this region. Tokyo, Japan has some superb what's the word I'm looking for? Structures that can hold up to some significant shaking. It could be the tsunami that would be not good if it does produce a tsunami from a mega quake in this area. Just it's looking likely, folks, that we're looking at a much larger magnitude, at least a 7.0. I just don't feel comfortable enough with these little fives, upper fives kicking off. That's just not a relief of pressure from the months and months of a lack of release of pressure in this region. So be on guard. Far as the rest of the Pacific Plate goes, that's the hot spot for right now. West Coast still kicking. Not a whole lot of movement out here right now. We'll cover most of this activity later on in an update, but I wanted to get the word out. Potential for a larger magnitude in this region, folks. Not forecasting, but whenever we see, I think whenever we see a swarm of activity like this working its way up, like I remember around the the 9.0 that struck in 2011 off the coast here, we've seen periods of 5s and 6s kick up the day beforehand. So a lot of these could be foreshocks. That's kind of what happens in a major seismic activity zone in a subduction zone, such as this region here, as the Japan Trench. It's right smack dab in an area that I've been watching for lack of movement for a sufficient amount of time, and I can only think and assume that something needs to happen here. It's got to happen to kind of catch up, if you will, far as compared to the rest of the plate movement to the north and to the south over the past, well over the past few months, if not past couple years. So just be on guard, folks. Kind of watching this activity. Stay alert, and we will provide some further data or update videos if anything changes. I do have a Japan station that I'm monitoring on the seismograph on the live stream. In fact, it looks like we got another earthquake right now coming into the Japan area. What's the Matsuhiro, Japan? It's going to be stationed right here on the bottom. Looks like there's another earthquake coming in there, just waiting to be updated on this seismograph station there in Japan. So be on guard for possible potential further large-scale movement in the Japan region. And we'll see you guys a little bit later on for the update video. Stay safe out there.